سبيل الدموع سبيل
We are
مريح.
diving down into an interesting topic 5 ways to build credibility with your audience. Now, I specifically mentioned the term audience, not members, not cold clients, but then audience, like who have probably communicated with you for the first time, second time, or third time. Now, these are not cold audience, they know who you are, but they don't know who you really are. Like, this, like, you're not cold, you're not hot, you're not you, your audience. They are not cold, they are not really hot, they don't know exactly who you are and what you do. They're kind of in the center of it, and now they want to know more about you. Plus, now you, how can you build credibility with them? First, I don't even introduce, right? Thank you so much for joining this particular video. I am Fazil Ahmad Shah. We have a community of introvert entrepreneurs where we do anything and everything related to webinars, building a business, tools and systems, coaching on the front end, and how can you go from 0 to 50, 50 to 5 lakhs, 5 lakhs to 15 lakhs, and so on and so forth. Slow. It's like a growing community, and we have fun week on week, week on week, week on week. Thank you so much. If you're not a part of the community, watch the video, have fun, and if you feel like, jump in the bandwagon. If you don't feel like, you've got so much of content on YouTube and podcasts which can actually benefit you and create the impact for you. That being said, the first point, how do you build credibility with your audience, is the first point, walking the talk. You should be leading by example. This is one of my favorite topics, because one of the favorite, not topics in itself favorite, but then this is one of the points which is very important when people look at you, whether you are doing it or not. You have to be having that depth of knowledge of what you're doing. Even, for example, if you're not doing it, you should have that conviction of saying that if I do it, this particular thing tomorrow, it is going to work no matter what. So yesterday I was watching this particular movie, and in that particular there was this dialogue. It was like he was smarter because he knew his weaknesses. I was like, that's nice. So when you are walking the talk, when you're leading by example, you are setting an example of people. Okay, I have a mentor said, once upon a time, like a couple of months back, he posted a post on Instagram. Those were the days when I used to binge spend my time on Instagram, like for 3 hours, for 4 hours, sometimes even 5 hours. Just scroll, stuff like that. When he made that one post, what was that post about? He screenshotted his particular activity time of Instagram and shared it with the group, the paid network that we have. It was 4 minutes, the whole week. In the whole week, the highest was 4 minutes. He set an example for me. I was like, hey, if $1 million entrepreneur is doing that, why couldn't I? Now that even I want to become an entrepreneur, even I want to be where he is, and I want to have a community, I want to start doing a business, I want to help people out, I want to do so many things. And I was like, hey, I just assessed myself. Okay, I'm spending 5 hours of my day, of 24 hours, like, it's just going on Instagram. I have to take a step back and I should start looking at things in a different perspective. And that 4 minutes became such an inspiration for me. I brought down my activity all the way from 5 hours all the way to 0, and I stopped literally using Instagram for so many months. Like, whenever I used to go to Instagram, it was for a specific reason. I just wanted to message someone or get a message for someone. The whole week's average used to be 3 minutes. Whole week's average. I was like, why did this happen? Because someone else was walking the talk, leading by example, that inspired me to take those actions. If not for him, I would have still had clocked 4 to 5 hours on Instagram without knowing where my time is going. I was like, it's just happening, I don't know. So when you lead by an example, you're setting an example for your audience, for your people, so they know what you're doing, they know exactly how you're doing, and you are inspiring them to take those small little actions, those small little micro actions that they want to take. Point number 2, having knowledge aesthetically. You know your stuff. So when you open your mouth, it's like when I did my first ever meetup in my community, in my mentors community, I said things with conviction. I was so nervous saying to, I was talking to 90 plus audience where I had zero experience of webinars, zero experience of dealing with people, being an introvert, just going in front of people, having a presentation and reading presentation out, I had nothing. But when it came down to content, I knew how systems work. I knew what people wanted to get. I knew what funnels were, how a website, like what were the integrations part of it, what's the psychology behind it. I was just nervous. I did not have experience to talk to people. I just not had the delivery part of people to like 90 people, 90 plus people. But what I had was in-depth knowledge of the business, the coaching, not coaching. I just knew things, the tactical part of it. I knew business part of it. I knew systems part of it. I knew integrations. I knew which tool to use, when to use, how to use. Not the coaching part of it. I later learned those things. So point being, I had that aesthetic knowledge that people wanted. That's where when I started talking to people, giving those, helping people or kind of taking them from where they are when they need to be. It's like just joining the dots, giving them the pointers. It developed me overall, and they started trusting me. They started looking up to me as a leader. Like, why? How did that happen? Because I had the subject knowledge. So how do you build? They did not pay me anything. Those were the people did not pay me a single rupee or a dollar. They did not. They were my mentors community, just like me. Now, just because I was like 2 months older than the community, I got an opportunity to help them out. Now they were new. I was like, great, I'll just come and help you on. The more I started helping out, they started learning from me. Why did that happen? Because just the knowledge in that specific domain. So those were also cold audience for me, not even warm audience. They had no idea who Fazal was. How did they resonated with it? Just because I knew that subject knowledge. So whenever you open your mouth, it should be you breathe that domain, you breathe that subject. So people trust you and they say like, hey, dude, you know the stuff that I need to know. So they're having so much of confidence when the moment you start talking to you, the moment you start having that conversation. Third, already have that in-depth knowledge. Probably we have covered this. Fourth, being honest about your journey. Now, this is an interesting one. The fourth point is you should be honest about your journey. I'm very honest and very vulnerable about my journey today, not back in the day. When people used to ask me, Fazal, like when I had so many people messaging me in my mentors community, they started asking me questions like, "What do you do? How much money you make? How many members do you have in your community?" I started lying in the beginning, because now that I was in a position, people started to respect me, look up to me, and I was into that fame sort of a thing, that small little fame that I got, where I was so insecure in a way where I just did not wanted to tell people that I'm not making money. I am not having a community. I'm working on it just like you, but then I just did not want to bring that to the people, and I had not brought it. I was also being honest saying, okay, I'm not answering those two questions. What are those questions? How much money I make? How many members I have in the community? These two doors we are not knocking in this particular conversation that we are having. I was like that. But later on I started learning that I just not letting them know where I am in the journey. It started to become burden for myself. And that started building up pressure, which I don't want. So whenever you're communicating with anyone, just be honest with your journey, where you are, why you are not able to do things, why are you failing at so many things. Even if you're taking so long to build a business, it took me what? I got into mentorship way back in 2019 April. I upgraded to a different level in the month of May and June. I started taking loans from them onwards in the month of July, August. And from then onwards, for all the way 6 months, I built business, getting all the tools were humongous, very bad decisions. I think we learned that. I was having a conversation in the morning with my mother as well. Like, I did so terrible mistakes where I was having all the tools and having no content. And kind of fast forward, 2020 went like that, 2021 went like this, like 2 years just went without me building businesses. And these were the times when I actually trained over 2,000 members in my mentors community, and I had nothing. I had no business, no money, no income, probably like a little bit money here and there, probably 4,000 here and there I was just making, but not a solid income. People knew I was making money, so there was like a huge cloud that people were thinking that I was making money, but I wasn't. So I was just being honest with. I started being honest after a couple of months and a couple of weeks back in itself. Going back to fifth point, not pretending to be anyone. You just don't pretend to be someone, because when you pretend to be someone, you are losing you. You don't have to pretend to be someone. When you for example, when you're consuming so many videos, when you're listening to so many people talking, what you do is you start incorporating those things from so many people, and what happens is the more you do that, the more that person becomes you. So you will become second version of yourself, not the first version, the best version of yourself. So you're trying to become someone else. You are trying to pretending to sound someone like else. You are pretending to look like someone else. Very bad way of living it. Very bad, because you're losing yourself. In the journey, you are just losing yourself. So like, why do you want to lose yourself? The only version of you is you. Now, when you start pretending to someone else, what happens is, if you're pretending to someone great in your industry, the audience that you have will immediately know, okay, this guy or girl is wanting to be like that person. The moment they relate you with someone else, your brand is gone in front of them. You know why? Because they know who you're replicating. Now when they know who you're replicating, what happens is they eventually go buy from them, not you. Why would they buy from you? Because when you want to be that person now, that you want to be that particular person, why don't they just go and buy from them? You understanding the psychology? So 5 ways to build credibility with your audience is walking the talk, having knowledge, aesthetically. Like when you open your mouth, people should know, like, this guy knows his stuff. 3, already having that in-depth knowledge. 4, being honest about your journey, stories, not pretending to be anyone else. Thank you so much for making this video and me a part of your day. I know the time is superior to money. This one statement I've learned from Grant Cardone last week to be precise, and I know how precious time is. Thank you so much. I hope you've been taking notes, and I am going to see you in another video.
وبالله نذنا